Hey there, YouTube. I am at Blackfoot Reservoir Campground near China Hat, Idaho. China Hat is just maybe 10 miles away from here. I'm going to give you a tour of the campground and kind of show you it because it's a really, really nice campground. I mean, very well spaced out. The sites are all very nice. I like it quite a bit, but today is October 2nd and I've been on the road for a week now and I'm just learning there was a government shutdown of some sort. By the time this video is posted, whatever that government shutdown was all about may have ended. So the things I'm going to show you here may not even apply. I don't know, but we'll talk about it as we go. So let me give you a tour around Blackfoot Reservoir Campground. So you access the campground along this causeway here. This is your entrance into the campground. The road all the way up to here is perfectly fine. This causeway's got a couple little potholes, but it's nothing that'll stop anybody. And here's the sign. Now, as you can see, this is a Bureau of Land Management campground, so it's a federal campground. There's nothing here that says this place is shut down. I checked the website. I tried calling the number to see if I could even make a reservation here, and nobody answered the phone, I guess because of the government shutdown that's happening now. And that may all be over by the time you see this video, so that may or may not apply, but I'm mentioning it now because it's just a little bit of a different experience here. So whenever you come in, you normally would go to the right, and we are going to go to the right. We'll make the loop that way. But before that, there's a dump station up here. So I'm just going to show you the dump station while I'm here, simply because it'll be less backtracking for me. I'm thinking selfishly here. So let me show you the dump station before we make the loop. As we come up the hill to the dump station, some things I'll tell you. With Verizon, I get 1 bar of 4G signal, and I only get it right here at the entrance. I don't get it back around any of the loops. So keep that in mind. And there's really, I don't think there's any services anywhere nearby here either. So kind of far out there. So the dump station is here, and it, I guess if you're not staying, you could just pay to use the dump station, I suppose. But none of this apparatus is working either to pay through the QR code stuff. I'm guessing because of the shutdown. Dump station is pretty basic. You got your left and your right side. But here's the peculiar thing, is there's a lock on both of them. And because there's no signs anywhere here saying that it's off season or saying that it's shut down because of the government, whatever, I don't know which is which. I'm assuming that someone put a lock on that in the last couple of days because of the shutdown. All of the water in the entire place is shut off. So that's something else that you should probably know about if you're going to come visit this place. I don't know if it's shut off for the season or shut off because of the shutdown. Same kind of situation. Oddly enough, all the electric sites work. So electric is working on all of the sites. So anyways, that's the dump station. Figured I'd show you that first since I was here. But just get a look at the place though. This is just such a gorgeous place. There's a small neighborhood, a subdivision over there that you drive through to get here. But all very nice houses. Everybody's yard is really well kept and everything. And then all those hills and the distance on the other side of the reservoir, there's nobody there at all. It's extremely quiet here, extremely quiet. And this is a beautiful day to be here because the temperature is just right. It's like 74 degrees, 75 degrees, which doesn't help me understand why the water would be shut off for the off season. I know that this time of year, at the beginning of October, there could possibly be freezing temperatures in this part of Idaho, but I don't know, a lot of other campgrounds in Idaho have the water on, so I don't know. But anyways, we're making the loop now. So we're coming up around here. Here's the other thing I should tell you, is that the fee station, you can't pay a fee. I tried, there's no envelopes, the QR code stuff doesn't work. And then I got to reading the sign, and it says there's no fee, like at a certain point after September. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the box is empty. No fee, September 16th to May 14th. So again, I don't know if the things that are shut down here are shut down because of the government or if they're shut down because it's October 2nd. Your guess is as good as mine. But nice paved sidewalks all around the campground. And there's a couple boat launches here as well. There's just random picnic tables, real nice. They're all very nice aluminum picnic tables. The bathrooms are all open, but they're basically like outhouse style bathrooms, so there's no real plumbing in there or anything, but they're all clean. So, and there's several of these throughout. Got your pavilion picnic tables over there in the distance. Another picnic table there. Got your grills. There's a sandbox, I guess, for the kids. And pretty views of the lake beyond the pavilion. Very, very nice place. Beautiful willow trees. So you can go up this ways to loop your way back around to exit, but we'll just keep going down the loop. So I told you that the electricity is on, which is great. I told you that it's free, so I've never stayed at a campground with free electricity before. It's the first time for me. Someone probably made a mistake. I really don't understand that. Electricity's working fantastic. You got 30, 50 amp on all of the sites in this area here. And you can see all the sites are nice long back-end sites. There's a couple pull-throughs I'll show you. But each site has a little pavilion and a nice, fairly new aluminum picnic table on it. And there's your electrical hookup. You might not see it because of the sun. And we got a couple more back-end sites coming up here. This is number 3. And I believe that is number 4 where somebody is staying. So if you keep going straight, it'll loop you around. But instead of looping around, we're going to go down here and take a look at one of the boat ramps. I'll give you some footage of that. This water reminds me very much of Bear Lake. Bear Lake kind of straddles Utah and Idaho. We'll walk out here. Ricky hates walking on these things. He gets nervous. Look at that boy, nervous. He doesn't like how they move under his feet. But I'm right here at the edge now, so I don't want to step off and die or drown or ruin my camera. So this is a Blackfoot Reservoir. It's huge. I don't know how many square whatevers. But what's striking about this body of water, at least this part of it, is that there's just nothing along the shoreline other than kind of where we're at. You can see there's a couple small homes there, and then there's the causeway on the other side of that other dock there, and that on the other side of the causeway is that little neighborhood I mentioned at the beginning. But other than that, it's just very, very unpopulated, and I like that quite a lot. I'm a big fan of Idaho and northern Utah. This whole southern Idaho, northern Utah part of the country is some of my favorite countryside in the country. Can I say country one more time in a sentence? Maybe not. And then we're going to head up back where we were at before, but I got to show you that there's 2 halves of this campground. So there's the first half, which has all the electric sites, and that's where I'm at. But then there's also a half that's, I guess you would call like a primitive camping half. And we're going to head up there. You'll see way on top of that hill, there's a trailer up there. That's about where we're going to be going. All right, down there is where we were just at. And straight ahead this way is where we came in at. That's the beginning of the main loop. If you were to make a right, it'll continue around the loop for the other electric sites. We'll get there in a bit. That's where I'm camped. I'll show you that shortly. But we're going to continue this way to the, I guess you could call it, primitive sites. And what's remarkable is how incredibly spread out they are. All the sites here are fairly well spaced. And I can maybe understand why they would do that with the electric sites, because the more sites you cram in, you got to pay for the wiring and the plumbing and all that for each site. Costs money, more picnic tables, etc. But these primitive sites, most other places would be just, you could get 5 times as many sites in this section of the I guess we'll call it a park as far as the campground is concerned, 5 times as many as they have here. A lot of times I pick out a campground because I'll be doing some trails and hiking and that sort of stuff in the area. That's not the case here. There really isn't any, at least nothing within walking distance or a short drive from this campground. There's no trails, no hiking. This is more like a water place. You know, if you're into fishing, boating, canoeing, that kind of stuff, I think that's more what this campground is designed for. Okay, if you head on down there, there's a full-fledged boat ramp if you needed to back a boat down into the water. Big turnaround and parking area here. And then here's like the first few of these primitive sites. So site 1 is just a basic site, nothing special about it, except for the fact that there's nobody nearby you. There's nobody to the left or to the right of site 1. It's a small site, but you don't really have neighbors. The next closest one is way up this driveway here for site 2. Can't see it too well, but good grief for a primitive site. And I think if I read the sign correctly, even during the on-season, these sites are like ridiculously cheap, like just a couple dollars a night. But you got this big long driveway, and then you got 2 turnouts up there on this hill, picnic area to the left of that tree, and just all of this incredible space with nobody else around you. I mean, it's just remarkable that they would not have 5 sites in that space. Okay, we're heading on down here to the next one in the primitive area, which I think, from what I've seen earlier when I did this walk when I got here, I think this is my favorite of all the primitive sites. If there was an electric hook up here, I would have grabbed it. What is this, site 4? I'm not sure how they're numbered. I'm not even sure if I'm following these in the right order or not, but it's a big U turnaround here. So you got this full U. You could get 6 cars in here if you want. Picnic table, fire ring, and then you just got all this open space around it. Like this, to me, this is just really amazing. Beautiful rolling hills in the distance. This is just so nice here. Very, very nice. We'll go up this next one. We'll go up this hill a little bit further, and I'll give you a view of what's up there. Here's site 9, up just almost to the top of that hill. Again, a nice pull-through site with nobody on either side of you. Nobody across the road in front of you. It's just crazy how spread out these are. It's such a pretty view. It's not coming through as vibrant on camera as it is in person, I'm sure, but just beautiful blue water, blue sky, and just the golden color of autumn in this part of the country. I really like it. So we'll, there's another site down there, but it's almost identical to this one. So we're going to skip that for now and just make our loop up here, make our way around the loop up here, and then we'll head down the hill towards the remainder of the electric sites where we are camped. Okay, at the crest of the hill, there's a few sites here. We got 10, 11, and 12. I'm not gonna film the guy's site over there. He's staying there. So that was 10 I just showed you. This one is really wide. And again, nobody to the left or to the right. This big one up here is number 11. And then after 11 and 12, start going down. And you could see, you might be able to see my sunlight in the distance there, kind of in the center of the frame. So we're going to go down the hill, and then we will make a right and go back to the electric sites. As I'm walking down this hill, just look at all this unused space. I think it's used. It's being used appropriately. It's used as a buffer. It's used as a preserve of nature. But other people would see that and say it's unused space because there's no other campsites there. But I mean, you could easily get another 10 sites along this downhill stretch, and I'm glad they don't have them. I hope it stays this way. Okay, so we're coming back onto the electric loop. That's what I'm calling it, the electric loop. That's where we would have come. That's where we started, I should say. If we would have continued, we would have just continued up this road. And then you'll see my sunlight is the first one here on the right. Very nice pull-through site. And like I said, I got electric. There's no water spigot here. Water, when the water's turned on, it's like every 3 or 4 sites have water. So even during the on season, you're not going to get water at every site. But I'm at number 6. We'll come back here in a minute. But I got a little pad with a grill, picnic table, pavilion, plenty of space for a truck, a trailer, and probably a very long trailer if I had one. And then right across from 6 is the bathroom. There's a back-end site there for number 5. We got wheelchair accessible parking, and then there is a wheelchair accessible site right next to it. So that basically means that it's a paved site. You're putting your trailer on a concrete pad. So that's nice to see. And that would be number 7. And then number 8 right across is a pull-through site, very similar to mine. I don't know if there's actually somebody staying there because there hasn't been a vehicle in front of that the whole time. And then we're coming up to some other places where people are camped, so I'm not gonna film them. But here's number 9, a nice back-end site as well. So up ahead is the dump station area that we started at. A couple pull-through sites here that you could get a good glimpse of. And then we're gonna come down here this middle drive, and there's just a couple more. This other one here, I don't know if there's anyone actually using it or not because there hasn't been a vehicle there. So I believe these are 14 and 15. That would be 15, and this back-end site here would be 14. So again, you see the water spigots like this, they're all shut off. Again, I don't know if it's for the season or because of the government shutdown stuff. None of them work. It's also worth mentioning that the trash bins are all overturned. Like they turned them all upside down so nobody would use any of the trash bins. So there's no trash collection here either. Here's number 16, in case you were curious. So no trash bins, no water, pretty much no cell phone signal, just consider that. No Wi-Fi, no sewage hookups, probably no dump station. It's probably safe to say because there's locks on it. So what do you get instead of all that? You get spaced out sites. Not spaced out, that sounds like they're drugged up. You get well-spaced sites, beautiful scenery, an extremely quiet part of the state. No major towns around, no traffic whatsoever, no airplanes going overhead. Peace and quiet, and then if you're into water stuff, you get all the water stuff that you could want. All right, we're back here at my site number 6 as the sun is getting ready to set. What I like about number 6 is that my campsite view is of these beautiful rolling hills out here. Again, nothing on them. I don't even think that's farmland. I think that's just natural rolling hills. Pretty slick. Don't get much view of the reservoir from here. The lower sites you get better view of that, but that's okay. Boy wants to go inside and get some treats, doesn't he? Okay, let's get this Rickalick inside. I say it all the time, the sunlight. I love this trailer. Going on 4 years with this guy, and I've been nothing but happy with it. Best thing I ever purchased. And there's the Rickus, right on the bed as always. That's where he goes. Look at that boy up there. All right, YouTube, I appreciate you watching this video. Again, this is Blackfoot Reservoir Campground in Idaho, near China Hat, Idaho. That's the name of it. Not sure why, but that's what it's called. And thanks for watching. I hope that I see you in the next one. Bye.